So this is my first video on the Honest FBA channel, and it's on f***ing barcodes. Really? Well, in all seriousness, whilst the mention of the word barcodes probably makes you want to close this tab and go straight back to Netflix, it's a super important area to understand when it comes to building a brand on Amazon FBA. And why? Well, every single product in the world has got its own barcode, including ones on Amazon. But not all of them have the same purpose. You're going to need this one to get this one, which is the one that you need when you're selling on Amazon. And I know that might sound a little bit confusing, but it's actually pretty damn easy. In this video, I'm going to show you pretty much everything that you need to know about working with Amazon product barcodes. You're going to learn the difference between UPCs, EANs, FNSKUs, and other words like GTIN and GS1. Exciting stuff, eh? Now, you're going to learn where to get your barcodes and where not to get them, as well as how many different barcodes you need to get for your product, how to get them on your product, and look, I'm just fed up of saying barcodes at the minute. You're just going to learn everything that you need to know. All right. So we all know the sound of products being scanned at a checkout, that little red laser that scans the barcode on the package, and then up on the screen pops how much it is that you owe. Now, these barcodes, which are on pretty much every single package that you're going to pick up in any store around the world, those things are called UPCs in the US, or EAN if you're in Europe. And inside every UPC or EAN, there's a little number that's embedded, and that number is called the GTIN, or Global Trade Item Number. Technically, that GTIN, that's the number, and the UPC is the barcode, but hey, we're not going to be super technical about it. Let's just refer to it as EAN or UPC, or plain or simple barcode. Now, the good news is that if you're planning to sell products in both North America and in Europe, then UPC and EAN codes, those are recognized worldwide. So you're not going to need both. So for all practical purposes for today, we're just going to be referring to all of these things as the UPC. It's a little bit easier, right? Now, in order to sell products on Amazon, you're going to need your UPC barcode for your Amazon product, or you'll need a pass from Amazon so that you can skip this stage. And that's called a GTIN exemption. And I'm going to show you exactly how to sort both of those things in just a minute, along with a big warning about what you should not do. Whether you decide to get a UPC barcode for your product or not, you don't actually need to put it on your product's packaging when you're selling on Amazon. And that's because Amazon has their own type of barcode called an FNSKU. Right, so Amazon's own barcode, it's unique to products sold on its platform. And that barcode is called the FNSKU, which stands for Fulfillment Network Stop Keeping Unit. Yeah, I know, it's a mouthful. Now, sometimes you're going to hear these things referred to as Amazon barcodes because it's basically easy to say that, but it's the same thing as the FNSKU. So think of the UPC as something like your product's passport, and that has got a unique number that lets it be sold anywhere globally. And then the FNSKU, that's like your product's driving license, which has got a different unique identifying number that lets it move around the network of Amazon. So basically, different networks with different identifiers. Now, technically, Amazon will allow you to sell your product if you only have a UPC and not using the FNSKU. But for a whole shitload of reasons, just basically around tracking inventory and making sure that Amazon doesn't F up your stock, our advice is make sure that you use the FNSKU barcode as soon as you're given it. As soon as your Amazon listing's being created, then your product's going to get assigned its own FNSKU. Sweet. As I said just a minute ago, you can't create a product listing on Amazon without a UPC unless you've got a little cheeky thing called a GTIN exemption. And you can get one of those things by just searching for GTIN exemption within Seller Central. And that's basically going to allow you to skip straight to the FNSKU stage. But if you ever want to sell your products on other platforms, maybe like Etsy or wherever else, or in retail stores, you're going to need a UPC. And because we are looking to build global empires on and off Amazon, today we're just going to be showing you the UPC route. So when you go to create a new listing on Amazon, you're going to be asked for your product ID. And it's here where you're going to need to enter the UPC or the EAN for your product. Once that's done and you've filled out all of the other boxes, you'll be able to go ahead and create your listing and then get hold of that banging FNSKU. So just to be clear, if you're not going to be going down the exemption route, you need a UPC barcode to create your Amazon listing. And then Amazon will make you your FNSKU barcode for you. And surprise, surprise, you get it for free. And it's this FNSKU barcode that needs to be clearly displayed on every single product that you sell on Amazon. You don't actually need to put that UPC on your product if you're only going to be selling it on Amazon. So tuck it away in a sweet little folder, give it a kiss goodbye, and then just forget about it. So that's how you get your FNSKU barcode. And I'll tell you how you actually get it onto your Amazon package in just a moment. But first, you need to actually know how to get a UPC barcode. There are actually quite a few places you can go out to and buy one of these things. But here is a big thing to know. There's only one place that is officially accepted by Amazon, and that's from the GS1 Massive. Although you might be able to find cheaper barcodes for a one-off cost, honestly, don't be tempted, because those things are either really old barcodes that have been previously used by someone else, or they're not even in the GS1 database. And if you use them, it's likely that your listing is eventually going to be pulled by Amazon as soon as they do check GS1's public database. And we've seen that happen numerous times before, and it ain't a fun experience to go through. One thing to note is it currently only costs $30 to buy a unique barcode from GS1, and you know that you can trust them 100%. So hey, don't be a tight arse. So to get one of these bad boys, go to gs1.org and click the big orange Get Your Barcodes button. Select the location where you're going to be selling your product, and then click Get a Barcode /GTIN. And there you see that GTIN term that we mentioned just a moment ago. And that's going to open a new page where you need to estimate how many barcodes you need. And one thing that might be confusing you right now is, well, how many barcodes should you buy? Do you buy one for each unit, or one for each product, or just what, right? Well, let me break it down for you. If you are planning to sell 10,000 units of the exact same product, you're only going to need one barcode. The number of units, it doesn't matter. Now, if you have different variations of your product, so maybe something that comes in different colors or sizes, then you're going to need a different UPC barcode for each variation. So, for example, if you're selling some funky disco pants and there's a white version and purple version, and both of those come in 3 different sizes, then you're going to need 6 UPCs because you've got 6 variations of the product, right? Okay, so next you want to scroll down and click the Get a GTIN button, and there you need to then add your brand name and your product description, and the brand name needs to match exactly the one that you're going to be putting onto Amazon. Now, just in case you're not aware, your brand name, that's the outward facing name that your customers see. It's not your registered business name, which is often completely unrelated. So if your company is called Disco Dave's LLC, but your brand on Amazon is Everyday Disco, then here you want to put Everyday Disco. For the product description, just keep it brief. You can add your brand name, the type of product and variation if there is one, and maybe the number of items that come in a single pack. So maybe something like Everyday Disco, Disco Ball Large, 2-pack. This info is going to go onto a public database, so make sure what you're writing, it makes sense and it ain't rude. Our advice is write something super simple that's written more for your own benefit and for a product retailer, and not something that's meant to be viewed by customers who will instead just look at your product listing page. Once that's done, add it to your cart, finish the checkout process, pay that $30, and then you're almost done. So after that, you're going to get an email confirmation saying that you've got your GS1 account. And once you log in there, you'll be able to access your data hub where you'll see your product or your products all listed out along with the corresponding UPC code. And just to note, that might be labeled as GTIN12. It's the same thing. With that number that you're given then, copy it, head back to Seller Central, and then use it to create your product listing and get your juicy FNSKU from Amazon. By the way, as a little side note, if you need help setting up your listing, or you're looking for a community of super experienced, active, and really helpful Amazon sellers, check out the description for more info about our Honest FBA community. You're not going to regret it. And now all you have to do is just get that FNSKU directly onto your product. And there's two ways to go about that. Either you get your supplier to print the labels off as stickers and then slap them on each product, or you incorporate them directly onto your product's packaging, which if you're customizing your packaging, that's the no-brainer and it's the route to go down. The best thing to do here is to have a chat with your supplier about what they can do when it comes to your customized packaging and then see what options they offer. Now, if you are going to be doing custom packaging, which is what we recommend, then you're going to need to have your designer put the FNSKU barcode directly onto the packaging design file, which you're then going to be sending onto your supplier for them to be printing for you. Now, if you don't have a packaging designer yet, don't worry, just check out sites like Upwork or Fiverr. There's a ton of options there. Now, if you do take this route, your supplier is going to think that you're an absolute legend, and that's because it doesn't really create any additional work for them whatsoever. But if you're not going down the custom packaging route, then what you're going to need to do is send your FNSKU labels to your supplier by email, and what they're going to do is print them out and then stick them on each package for free. And here's how you can get those labels. So you want to go into your Seller Central account, then into Manage All Inventory, and then in the drop down of your listing, you want to click Print Item Labels, and this can be a PDF or whatever format that Amazon gives. But before doing this, just ask your supplier to see what format is best for them, and then just make sure that your products have the Amazon FNSKU barcodes, and this can be a PDF or whatever, and then you're good to go. If you're selling multiple variations of the same product, so different colors, sizes, whatever, just remember that you're going to have different FNSKUs and barcodes each variation, and you need to make sure that your supplier knows and understands exactly which code goes on which product, because if you don't, all the stock's going to get mixed up and it ain't pretty. I've had it done before, and to fix it, it was very expensive and very time consuming. So while your supplier is busy creating your order with your lovely Amazon barcodes done perfectly, you can now move on to getting a killer listing prepared ahead of your product launch, and you can learn all about that in the corner, one of these sides here. See you guys in the next one.